is extremely uncomfortable. I'm gonna move that keyboard. For lack of any better question, I guess I just wonder why. There's a part of me that just automatically internalizes when anything goes wrong. And I know this is like pure insecurity, pure it's not a rational point of view. But there's always a part of me that just asks, what could I have done differently? Why is this happening to me? Love when you show all the abuse that you took growing up. Only, it's... I guess I feel like a lot. I feel like as a person I just regressed back to 2016. And I don't think it affected me this... Maybe it did, I don't really know. When Trump got inaugurated the first time. I definitely think that having the Biden years and then getting my hopes up, and then having them come crash down again hurt me infinitely more than a second Trump term would have. I feel like I was building up a life and seeing a future, and then that's just gone. And that hurts more than if I had never tried to build one in the first place. I guess I wish I had just never focused on trying to be a part of the online community and just... Well, I wouldn't say that, because there are people who I appreciate who I'm talking to now. I don't know. In general, I think I've always been kind of disappointed with the I Want a Community as a community. It never really felt like a cohesive or supportive place. It always kind of felt jammed together. And maybe at times I would have liked that more. Let's be honest, I'm anti-authoritarian, so I probably wouldn't have gotten along well with a more structured community. I mean, I'm still pissed that they fiddled with Morning Dew. That seems objectively just seems inhumane to do that. It's just cruel. If you want to take the game down, take the game down. Don't re-upload it modified. But this isn't about the I Want a Community. This is about America. This is about... the first two rambles like this, I was angry. And I think I said that a lot, and I said a lot of things about needing violence, and it's true. We do. But at this point, I'm just sad. There's no way that humanity will ever redeem itself in my eyes. I had, for years, justified to myself that things like slavery, things like the Holocaust could only happen in the past because people were uninformed, and that the internet was secure because then people will have all the information they need. I truly drank the Kool-Aid on Trump's first term having been a complete fluke. I completely believed that Biden was the start of... that there's never going to be another Trump again. And even the first term Trump was not this bad. I'm sure any American would come in and say something different if you want. But I'm pretty sure any American that was paying attention in 2016 through 2020 knows it wasn't this bad. There was the COVID-19 pandemic, there was the tighter border security, making it harder for people to immigrate legally. That was all bad. The travel ban from 7 Middle Eastern countries, that was just stupid. But the secret police, I mean, well, there was police brutality, that was pretty bad too. But that was like that under Obama too. Maybe I'm only judging based on the change. I guess to some extent that's what all people will do. things get normalized. How many people still talk about the Patriot Act? How many people regularly talk about how we should repeal the Patriot Act? No one. And maybe it's just that it's constantly getting worse in this country. Maybe it's that people just normalize that. Maybe it's because we kind of all know that there's no going back on that. There's no way that the government will ever remove the TSA, remove the counterintelligence agencies being able to spy on us. This whole period is driving me insane. And I'm not saying that lately. I think I'm losing my mind. I just said this to someone on Discord. I think I'm slow cooking solitary confinement. It's a long, drawn-out period of isolation, minimal contact. Sometimes I message people, sometimes they message me back, but I feel like it never could make up for the real in-person interaction. There's something inside me that knows that this isn't what society should be like, that I shouldn't be hiding right now, that I shouldn't be uncertain about whether I'm even going to have a home next month. One of the first things I did when Trump got elected is I said, I just brought back every single standard I had for myself. I just dropped them all and I said, do whatever the hell you want. And then I did nothing differently. And I didn't even enjoy it when I ordered food through DoorDash or Uber Eats. I don't enjoy it. I eat it, but I don't care. It doesn't feel meaningful. I don't feel like I'm rebelling or anything when and it's not even rebellion. I don't want the feeling of rebellion. Oh, hold on, I gotta turn this off. I've got this buzzing noise in the background of the video now. Because I left the air conditioning on. Tell God, why did you leave the air conditioning on? Turn that off before you record your voice. The HVAC unit, turn that off. Yesterday I made a new account on a new platform called DL, or D Live. The L is part of the word live. D Live, yeah. I can't even raise my voice to sound enthusiastic. I'm drained. I'm not even drained, I'm just tired. I give up. How many times do I have to say I give up until the world changes? It doesn't matter. It never did. I know I'm going through all 5 stages of grief right now. In fact, I think I'm going through all 5 stages of grief for every single iteration of this. But as for the Trump administration, I didn't believe that it was real. I thought that Kamala Harris or Joe Biden would do something to save us, but no, of course not. Of course not. Of course not. I was just desperate. I've gone through all 5 stages. I'd be bargaining right now if there's anything I could do. It's the futility of everything that's eating away at me. Everything I did, everything I pushed myself to do, all the time that I tried to be productive and I tried to get ahead of the curve on things. I thought society was moving to where people just wouldn't have jobs and then they'd vote for things like a UBI and a living wage for people who did work. I thought that I would never have to work again. I thought I was getting ahead of that. I thought I was building up a future for myself that I could do. Getting government checks, having a government apartment, that's what I thought my life would be like. I thought I'd be making freeware indie software for the rest of my life. I thought I'd be encouraging other people, and I thought I'd eventually be able to go, ha, told you so. Told you that college didn't matter. To be fair, I mean, college, if you have it where you have people that are willing to fund it for you, that's one thing. I will still stand by. You should not take out student loans to go to college in this modern world. I'm infinitely better off than if I had done that. I would have been $160,000 in debt, and that would be crushing me starting next year, I think. Is it starting this summer? I don't even know. I'm not tracking. I have not been tracking the years. Because I didn't go to college, so why would I have known what my graduation date would have been? It also depends on what kind of degree you get. But I would probably get a meaningless degree. Oh my god, could you imagine if I was one of those MBA people? There's a class that I can say with confidence I'm more capable than. Average MBA poster on LinkedIn that says something stupid about going to a restaurant and finding some... being inspired in some way to give some spiel about working hard and being a good workhorse for the man, the company. I just hired someone with a 2-year employment gap. And then you scroll down LinkedIn and every single major account is posting the same nonsense. It's actually incredible. Dead internet theory, but you know those are real people because LinkedIn verifies. I know because this one LinkedIn account, Yuri Lesbianism, got taken down. I can't believe it. They didn't even post Yuri, they just had that name. But obviously it wasn't a real name, so they took it down. I only know that because Maya Arts and Crimu posted it on Tumblr. I don't know if it created that account, but I do know that Maya posted that account to their Tumblr. This is a perfect game to be crying about how I lost my mind to. I'm doing 114,514 tweets. If I hadn't lost my mind already, I'm gonna lose it at the end of this. Look at that. Look at that awesome gameplay loop. By the way, I know I've been meaning to do these every other day, and I missed yesterday. The reason is because I was exporting the second video. I didn't do that I didn't edit it the day after I recorded it. I edited it the day after that day. And it took forever to export. I was actually shocked that it took that long. I don't know why it took the whole day to export that. So then it was like 8, and then I didn't feel like doing this at 8 o'clock at night. Didn't want to bother people that got home from preparing for work or whatever. Because I'm sure they can hear some of this, and I honestly don't care. But I do care. I'd like to say I don't care, but there's some part of me that still cares. That knows that those aren't the right people to be bothering. I don't want to be a burden on my fellow citizen. Not unless it's for some greater goal. I know you can mock me and say I'm doomer, or I'm crashing out, or I'm defeatist. But how do you not be defeatist? I saw all of this. Well, I didn't see all of this. I saw that Trump was a bad choice. I knew that Trump was a bad choice. I knew that Elon Musk was an idiot. I thought that everyone else would have known that too. And now that I see that, in fact, people are stupid enough to fall for this, why would I care? Why should I care about what you call me and what you say about me? Every time someone... You can mock me for being a doomer or defeatist, but do you have any better plans? I guess I'm just as bad as the rest of you, though, because look at me, I'm burying myself in doing 114,000 gate jumps and talking about what's going on right now as if that's going to change anything. Maybe it will, but I sure don't have any way of knowing that. Maybe someone will see this and it'll inspire some change. Maybe someone will see this and will go out. Oh, there's something we can talk about. What was his name? Yeah. Colorado man arrested 2 days before going to war on Elon Musk. And look at these comments we got here. I can pull up the video. Or, wait. Pull up the, this stuff. I agree with this point. It shouldn't be killing the owners of Tesla cars, maybe, I don't know. But you know what? If they could have just fucking killed the Musk. If they could have killed the Musk, the one and only. This just breaks my heart. Because I'm like, this could have saved us. We just need one person with a gun that's... He's no longer welcome to be alive. I totally agree. The investigation's shady, but this whole government's shady. Don't expect them to play by any rules. At least 58-year-olds are waking up to it. I'm just a kid. Please. I'm just a kid. Guy innocent of all charges. Would love to argue that, but it's not the point. The point is they're in jail, so they're not going to be killing Elon Musk. It's been April 17th and the attacks didn't happen. Next president better parson the Tesla arsonists. And they better not... Well, there's not going to be a next president. Well, there is going to be a next president, but it's not going to be on our side. I kind of agree with this point here. Don't announce it in advance. Declaration. Yeah. I ready to declare a terrorist attack. But, I mean, they're doing the right thing. The only good American is a draw 3D American. Draw 3D begin. Open parentheses, close. To be honest, I don't care. Read this out loud in a court. This does break my heart. Why does this look like a uterus? Why does that... It's that or it's a Mickey Mouse. Why did they do that? Why is that the logo? Okay, I've got to stop laughing about random shit because now I'm just looking insane. Which, to be honest, I am. More editing work for me. I'm tired. I'm not even insane. I'm just defeated. And for all that I rage at people focusing on things like college right now, look at me doing 100,000 gate jumps. That's gonna change the nation, isn't it? 100,000 pigeons. 114,514. What more could we have done? What more could people have done? Project 2025 leaked. Everyone knew this. Was it really just a bunch of... Were the ballots rigged? Was it really just the Andrew Tate alpha male crowd? I think it might have been that. It might have been Joe Rogan. But how did we get to a point where people are listening to Joe Rogan? I know the Democrats are shit, but seriously, Joe Rogan? Andrew Tate? And of course, women are going to end up taking the blame for this too. It's like, the Democrats catered too much to women and people of color. It's their fault the white men voted differently. Men were lonely, it's women's fault. Men were lonely because, look, every one of these alpha male influencers, right? Every one of them, I hate the term influencer, but I'm using it here. Every one of these people that call themselves to be masculine figures, they're all, the people that are pushing this shit with toxic masculinity, they're all men. How is it women's fault? How is it the fault of any woman? Even people like J.K. Rowling aren't pushing this shit. It's just the obnoxious, egotistical men. Why are young men turning to people like that? This reminds me of I saw this tweet once where it was basically, it was a woman complaining about how much effort women go to dress up, and then it was a man underneath saying you're only ever going to get criticism for not, looking a certain way from other women. And I feel like it's the same thing here for the alpha men, that the people that were swayed by figures like Andrew Tate and whatever, into toxic masculinity, into voting for Trump. It wasn't women that made these men do that. And clearly it isn't. It's not like that's the only way you get sex. In fact, I think the vast majority of women are uncomfortable with men who talk about domestic abuse and glorify that, and who preach all this other shit that Andrew Tate and those... I mean, half the time they're just talking about dominating women. Like, no woman... Well, I'm not gonna say no woman, I shouldn't generalize. The vast majority of women would just be really creeped out if you came up to them and started saying that it's not attractive to women. Women didn't tell young men to go follow figures like Andrew Tate. Women didn't tell young men that they need to be toxic masculine figures carrying around swords in their home and talking like they're a 13-year-old emo kid. 13, 15? I don't know. Who the hell even talks like Andrew Tate? I don't even remember any teenagers talking like Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate doesn't... It's not fair to say Andrew Tate talks like an emo kid. Andrew Tate talks like the school shooter. I told the devil in hell to be ready for me. I saw a ghost. I stared them in the eye and they backed away. Like, you just sound pathetic. If that's what any group is flocking towards, if any group is following someone like Andrew Tate to go vote for whoever that person is, you're an idiot. And I say the same about Donald Trump. And I know I shouldn't be saying idiot and shouldn't be pushing people away, but respectfully, this isn't about left versus right. He's a con man. Donald Trump is a serial con man, and Andrew Tate is like the kind of person that would start a fight at a bar and like beat you senseless because they got too much to drink. Why are you following either of these people? Like in the post-apocalyptic, nuclear devastation world, I understand wanting to be buddy with Andrew Tate, but right now Andrew Tate can't even legally assault you. It's not like these people have power. I mean, Andrew Tate in Romania has bought the government out, but he's a sex trafficker. Why are you idolizing a sex trafficker? And from all that I've seen, it seems like it's like the leftist and especially queer men are getting plenty of sex. And I mean, it seems like it's only the conservative. I say queer, but I don't mean like gay sex. I mean like whatever you'd consider not traditional masculinity. So not even queer, just everyone except for the toxic masculine cishet Andrew Tate followers seems to be getting plenty of sex. It's clearly not that they shouldn't be desperate. There's only one person I've ever talked to who's complained about women rejecting men, and that person was an evangelical Christian, and I've stopped talking to them because that's all they ever talked about. And they only started saying that shit when they took a turn into far Christianity extremism. They went the Jordan Peterson route. And that's the thing that also, it's so... I know I'm right, but I also know that the rest of society doesn't see it that way. So I just feel very alone, and I don't want to compromise on what I'm saying here. Like, I know that I wouldn't want to change to be more palatable, to more marketable to the rest of people, but I'm also lonely. Where are the other fan gamers that are smart and politically aware? Hit me up, please. Discord, DM me. Please, I need someone to talk to, stay sane. I should put that in the description of my videos. I should put that as a Blue Sky tweet, but no one follows me there. I feel like I'm constantly trying to stay ahead of this, and it doesn't even pay out, but in trying to be politically aware and trying to be politically conscious, and I'm just constantly I'm constantly isolating myself and hoping that people will eventually come and join me, and they do, but then at that point it's too late. I left Twitter how many years before everyone else? 2 years, a year and a half. You know, I left Twitter, and I feel like I never had a chance to build up a following. I've been trying to stay and be conscious, be aware, be intelligent. Maybe the problem is just that I outgrew the Iwana community, but why does the Iwana community have to be... I mean, is it just that joining a community where people spend hundreds of hours playing video games, you're not going to find people that care about issues outside of the 2D precision platformers they play? Is that it? Is there no market for people who are politically aware and also like precision platformer I want to be the guy games? Aren't fan games as a whole just inherently anti-establishment in that way? I mean, we're breaking copyright law. At the very least, the old KN style of fan game developer who just wanted to make some cool shit to, you know, to use the characters they see in a creative way. That's the type of person I am. And I'd like to think that medley fan gamers are inherently that too. To me, I want to be the guy games. A core part of that always was breaking copyright law. And doing so openly and smugly. I'm that bratty person. Fuck you and your copyright laws. Fuck you and your copyright laws. I'm going to be fighting Bowser now. Bowser's my character. This is my Bowser boss. It's not a character similar to Bowser. This is Bowser. He's playing the Bowser music from Super Mario 64. Where's the way to find that subgenre, that niche? I will say, one person who I think has always been on the cutting edge of that, who I've strived to be more like, was V. Egg. I haven't heard from her in a while or even seen her posts, but she was always intelligent. I should probably DM her and just be like, I don't know, is it weird to just DM someone and be like, I admire your political awareness? No, it's not weird to do that. Why would I think that's weird? Who cares what's weird? What else am I gonna do? A bunch of gate jumps? I don't know about everyone else, but for myself, I feel like I've always had an admiration of people and never said it to them because I didn't want to be seen as clingy. Which is stupid, because if someone else felt the way about me that I feel about these people, I would want them to tell me. I'd be honored. I found people that think similar to me, but I'm not giving them the type of appreciation that I would appreciate, because I'm afraid that people different than me would find it annoying. God, I'm an idiot. At least I'm taking a moment to have a bit of introspection now. I mean, it's not too late. It's never too late. It's not like having done that earlier would have changed the route of anything that happened. Maybe that's the role that this whole period is going to have in my life, in our lives. I guess I should talk more generally, so this is relevant to someone that isn't me, because I am putting this up publicly. Maybe that's the point of this administration, and the last administration, and the administration before that, just to take people off their high horse, to rock the boat a bit. The internet as a whole has felt very corporate lately. It feels like a bunch of people it feels like the embodiment of side hustle culture. And there's the thing I said, I think in the first video I said I was going to get talking about side hustle culture, but I didn't. Never got around to it. The idea, I'm going to go on a tangent on that. The idea that people should be marketing themselves, it is profoundly anti-human and heartless. And that's something else I always appreciate about fan games. And I still appreciate about fan games. They're derivative works. They're free. Even the game that's on Steam, I Want a Maker, is still free. In fact, there's been a lot of people that give their personal money to make these free games, in addition to, of course, giving their time, which hundreds of hours go into making. I honestly, given how many games are on Delphi, it was what, like 10,000? I think it's now 12,000 something. I don't think it would be an exaggeration to say that there's been over 1 million hours poured into making these works. Of course, games like this might not have had that much time put into them. They might be on the lower end of the average of hours put into fan game versus what you have as a result. 114514 Needles is the one game that I will say definitively takes longer to clear than it did to make. Okay, well, and other similar games like 10 million gate jumps and 10 million diagonals. I wouldn't normally say that because it seems judgmental and it makes a lot of assumptions about how fast people work and whatever. But like, this game, I think I can pretty confidently say you could make this in an hour. You could go from engine to this in under an hour. They should make a 114. No, they shouldn't. I'm not gonna give any more ideas. Please, God, no. Oh, I was saying something. Right. The side hustle culture, it's very weird to talk about. Because on one hand, from a humanitarian standpoint, the idea that you should monetize every minute of your time is dystopian. And completely unsettling to think about. I feel like in general that's my problem with how the way that the college admissions push, the push to get everyone in college has transformed childhood. Because now everything is an extracurricular activity. Everything children do are something that you can... They talk about everyone gets a trophy, and I think the right-wingers say that to be like, oh, kids are so sensitive, they'll cry if they don't get an achievement. Kids don't care, it's the parents that care. And the parents care because they want to be able to say their kid was ranked number 1 on the softball team in 3rd grade on that kid's college resume. This is another reason that while I never went to college and never applied to college, I probably wasn't going to get into college anyways, because I didn't have any extracurricular activities. What could I have written about? I couldn't write about fan games. And that was all I did. So, I could have written about fan games, then I'm tying that online account to my real-life persona. And then when I say things like we should kill Elon Musk on Televar account, that goes and makes me unadmissible into college. So, but that's why I do it too, is because I do want to be unmarketable, unadmissible. I don't want to be a tool for these big corporations. So I feel like to some extent I would want to, just for the sake of showing that I'm not falling into that side hustle nonsense. I'm not going to make money off this account. I will never make money off the Calvara account. If I do, I have compromised my own values. So I'm going to say a few things that make sure that no one would ever want to advertise, want to give me a sponsorship or whatever. Just append, we should kill Elon Musk, we should kill corrupt politicians, destroy corporations, free Luigi Mangione. Just append that onto every video I make. Just for the sake of saying that. Just for the sake of having that known. 2886 28870. The other thing about the side hustle push that I find particularly is the reason that it's so odd is that it doesn't even make these people money. I've watched a few videos of people that bought cars, or actually they took out car loans so they could put the cars on Turo. And in the end, they barely make even. They barely break even on the loan payments. Keep in mind, the loan is worth more than the car because they're just making the minimum payments on it. And at this point, if you trade in a car, you lose half their values. Cars are a depreciating asset. So even if you're breaking even on the loan payments, one, this presumes that Turo is still going to be a thing 8 years down the line when you're finishing your car loan. And two, at the end, you're going to have a bunch of cars, which are depreciating assets. Good luck making any money off this. And you're working day and night to keep these cars running, keep your platform, your listing up. For what? Maybe DoorDash and Uber were originally good ways to make money, but nowadays I feel like everyone says that they don't make enough and you have to tip, and they need tips to survive. I'm not blaming the people that fall for these schemes. It's clearly capitalism taking advantage of the weaknesses of capitalism. People who work a full job, who can't pay their bills, who capitalism sells them this idea of a way to make passive income. It's like the get-rich-quick schemes, except now having decent standard of living is enough of a fantasy that you can sell people on crazy schemes for that. It's not even about getting rich anymore. Next thing you know, the Nigerian prince scams will be reaching out to people, offering them a reduced mortgage rate. offering them a normal mortgage rate would probably get people to sign on. And you see this trend towards extremism and ideologies such as like even the trad wife movement. And honestly, maybe some of the alpha male stuff. I think it is just that Andrew Tate has money. Joe Rogan has a successful podcast. People want to be like them. And you have people entering even other spaces now trying to come in with the intent of making money. People who enter the game dev world and their first thought is, how do I make a hit indie game? How do I make Balatro? How do I make Celeste? Instead of how do I make something, how do I make a video game, is how do I make a top seller video game. People who get, make Dungeons and Dragons groups, they start DMing and their first thought is, how do I make another Critical Role? How do I make a Critical Role? How do I make something that'll get me a ton of money? What's the easiest way to get rich quick? And if you go on TikTok now, there's all sorts of schemes. Most of which are selling you courses where the whole point of the course is how to sell courses to other people. It's basically a pyramid scheme, except there's no central organization. It's just the collective human nature has formed the structure of the pyramid. That's it. I sell you a course on how to sell courses to others. None of us provide any actual tangible value to each other. It's just trying to get money. And that's the economy we live in. That's the world we live in. The President of the United States is shilling crypto coins. Shitcoins. It's a scam-based economy. That's it. I just wish it wasn't so pervasive. Everyone's looking for this way to make money. And that's all that's on people's minds. That said, the furry community gets a pass from me because they always get a pass from me. Treating furries like they're superhuman. I believe in furry supremacy. Oh god. The whole political scene is so stupid. I just have to come back to that point. This is so stupid. We're talking about furries. I laughed the first time, but at this point I'm just tired. Ooh, look. Furries. Unisex furry. Antifa. Commie. I made that little scribble drawing just to... That's a way to laugh at this a little bit. I'm just tired at this point. Communist, Antifa, transgender furries, and their mice. The transgender mice. We're so stupid. I should watch Idiocracy. Maybe I'd relate to that. I don't know how much of this is me just idolizing the past, which I hated when I was living there. I hated my life when I was in the past, and I was hoping for a better future. Maybe nothing changed, and I'm just still disappointed in life. But it doesn't feel like it was this stupid. I look back at the historical accounts, but who knows how accurate those are. When can we get to the point where people are dragging judges, or not judges, judges are actually on the better end of this. Where can we get to the point where people are dragging out these politicians and hanging them? I'm serious on this point. I'd like the feeling of being able to do something. I'd like the feeling of having some role to play. I don't want to be a leader in this, though. And no one else is taking the lead. And I think part of that is just, it's the spy net. It's the way these counterintelligence agencies are everywhere. You can't have a group online that's dedicated to some secret plot. Even the Jan 6 insurrection, there were federal agents that were tapping into that. if Trump wanted to, he could have deployed the National Guard. He knew that there was going to be that attack. The only reason that Jan 6 happened was that Trump was on the side of the people doing it. It wasn't a secret. It was just the people in power wanted this. Maybe I'd do something if I knew the next that if I won, the Democrat president was going to pardon me. But even then, if the winning, so to speak, happened in 2026, that'd be a lot of time in prison. Or actually 2025, or 2027, January of 27. Be a lot of time in prison. I can't live like this. I don't have the inner motivation to do anything. Do a bunch of gate gems because I won't enjoy what I'm playing anyways. I'm just defeated. I want to say I can't live like this, but nothing's gonna change. All I can do is preach to the choir here. Well, I say preach to the choir, but there's a lot of American banging people that I know aren't doing anything, who are putting the wool over their eyes, so to speak. Not happy with those people. In fact, I really wish those people would step up. They should. Just putting out my own little manifesto right here. Okay. Wake up, sheeple. You know, going from when I was younger, being a rule follower and peaceful person, non-violent, just a kind person, hopeful, and seeing every single thing I did then be wrong. Maybe I've gone too far the opposite way. Maybe I'm too defeatist, but I certainly wasn't right before, so I'm trying something different. That's all we can do, right? I tried to change. And I think I have done a lot. I think I've been... I don't know what the sound is. Sorry, got stuck for something. I think that's my refrigerator. I feel like I've done the most to change, and the most to try to make a better world, a better community, and it just didn't pay back. Online or in person. For months, I was supporting people, saying that things were going to get better, saying we should have hope, and then the election happened, and I realized, no, they're not going to get better. I was wrong, so I lied to everyone. And I would have said a lot of the things people are probably saying about me right now, if they care. No one cares. No one cares about me. No one's thinking about me. Not a single person thinking about me. No one's talking about me. I never had a presence in this community. No one cares. That's the truth of it. There's a handful of people that ever cared about me. Most of them are sick of me now, too. We're about to hit 30,000. 30K. There we go. That's a nice bit of progress we're making there. What? Oh, something finished downloading in the background. It popped up an Explorer window. I was taken aback by that. Right, my Tor browser finished downloading something. I can close that now. Where did everything go wrong is what I ask, but nothing ever was going right. I mean, the Maker Medley was cool. That was a success. But it took a lot of effort. You can't keep doing that every moment of your life. You burn out. Also, that game took me 3 years. There were moments where I was feeling like this during the time of that game development. Did I ever finish what I was saying about the side hustles? I wish people could just... I wish the mainstream view was that you should do things for your own personal gain, but of course it isn't, because people right now work a full-time job and still don't have enough to get by. And you'd think with the shortage of jobs, especially with the government laying off hundreds of thousands of people, that Americans would want a universal basic income, but I actually don't hear anyone calling for that. Granted, I think AOC could definitely be, if she had the support, she'd push for that. I trust her, but do we really think we're going to get AOC as president? Or are the Democrats going to go and put forth their centrist candidate again? Granted, if AOC challenges Kamala, I think there will be a primary. The question is, can enough people get behind AOC, where, unlike in 2016, where Bernie had the support, I feel like had a beautiful platform and had the support of the youth, but just didn't win. We need to make it very clear. You vote for AOC or you vote for Kamala Harris, because I think what screwed over Bernie Sanders in 2016 was that every single Democrat who dropped out of the race gave their delegates to Hillary Clinton. And in 2020 with Joe Biden. even Democrats who had platforms similar to Bernie, Elizabeth Warren is the only one I can think of. Even Elizabeth Warren in 2020, she gave her delegates to Biden. If she'd given them to Bernie, maybe we'd have Bernie in 2020. So we need to make it clear to people. Every other candidate is just is a trap. They're going to give assume they're going to give their delegates to Kamala Harris. Assume that if you're not going to vote for, look at it like the choices between the candidate you want least and the leading progressive, or it's not going to be Bernie in this case, but AOC, let's say, is the progressive. Don't go vote for someone that's half progressive, because they're going to give their delegates to the centrist again. And then it was in 2016, it was Bernie Sanders versus the entire party. Bernie Sanders versus the world. Scott Pilgrim versus the world. But it's Bernie trying to get us healthcare. And like Scott Pilgrim, Bernie Sanders is just one person. Unlike Scott Pilgrim, Bernie Sanders isn't actually fighting physically and doesn't have whatever combat abilities, supercharged punches or whatever. I could see Cory Booker or Chris Murphy was the one. They've been active right now in the political scene, but yeah, who cares about who's running in 2020? Let's talk about surviving let's talk about impeaching Trump. That's the only way forward for this nation. Trump has to be impeached and removed from office. Vance has to be impeached, removed from office. Elon Musk impeached and removed. And you need a new speaker in there, otherwise it's going to be Mike Johnson. Maybe we're going to have Mike Johnson for a bit and then have to impeach him too. I don't see the Republicans having the spine to stand up and vote to remove. Only 10 Republicans joined Democrats in the House, I think, to remove Trump from office after his term was over, after the Jan 6th insurrection. That really needs to happen under Biden. That really needs to happen under Biden. Trump needed to get charged for that insurrection under Biden. He wasn't. Biden put in place a Republican in charge of that insurrection. That was the stupidest thing he could have done. It's because Biden's one of those narcissist Democrats that think they can bring the whole nation, including other Republicans, together. Including Republican politicians. They think there's some way you can talk to them that'll make them vote for you. There isn't. Stop with this bipartisan bullshit. It never works. It never works. The only time that Republicans jump on board for what Democrats want is when the Democrats want something that's going to hurt all of us. Usually it's the Republicans convincing the Dems to get on board, but sometimes the Democrats put forth a stupid idea, like the Earn It Act, or whatever is happening with the, repealing the protection for internet hosts, the content they host. That's a weird, I forgot what the thing is for that, but it's going to bring forth a wave of censorship. Democrats sometimes they call for like backdoors in encryption for governments, and then Republicans jump on board and say that's their bipartisanship. Yeah, no shit, you're giving the Republicans what they want. And that's why Democrats keep moving further right, because they think that they'll be able to be friends with the Republicans. Why? Why do you want to be friends with the Republicans? You're the opposition party. You got men like Chuck Schumer, people like Nancy Pelosi, who, at least Nancy Pelosi, like, I don't know, fuck her. Fuck all these establishment Dems. They talk about procedure, and they hold up signs. They censor their own when a Democrat calls out Trump for his lies. How did we get to the point where this nation is governed by a bunch of 40, 50, and 60-year-olds? Why aren't more people running for office? You know, we have people like AOC just because someone decided to run. Maybe that's my calling here to the fanging community. If you're a person who's presentable in public and hasn't shut themselves away for the last couple of years, if you're a person who isn't mentally ill, go run for Congress. Go run. I can't do it. You have to. Fanging community, run for local office. Destroy copyright law. Put in place a universal basic income. Help the fanging community. Help your people. $30960. Feels like I've been playing forever, but it's only been an hour. I just have nothing more to say. But I do need to say something, otherwise I just silent. How could people do this? How can people be this cruel? And this gullible? Why? What's in it for them? Why are people so heartless? I'm here trying to gaslight myself to the idea of maybe, possibly, being able to do violence against a specific person who's harming others. Do you think people like Vance and Elon Musk are just... Well, I don't know about Elon Musk. Yeah, I guess he's the biggest example of like, why you like this. Why is he like that? With Vance, is it really just a way to play the masses? Is it just a way to get political power? Or is there some Russian... I don't even know. You know, do they have some sort of hypnosis technique that they're using to infiltrate your mind and put in place thoughts of needing to save the nation against the fucking transgender people? Is this all just a ploy where Russia will pay people? Russia or China or someone else is paying them to create division? And why are people so easily on board? Even if Russia is hypnotizing our leaders, they're not hypnotizing the population. I guess propaganda is really that strong. But if that is true, if people are just always gullible to falling for whatever propaganda you put in their minds, then what future in the world is there for people like me? Like, where do we go? What do we do? Do we fight for our whole lives just to try to stop propaganda from taking over everyone we're around? What kind of a life is that? It would help at least if there are other people on board, other people putting out the same thoughts I'm having. That's what I'm trying to do here. Doing my best to sound out so that someone else knows they're not alone. Because I sure feel alone right now. (31529) 31536 31543. Ouch. Jump, 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 jump. 31693. Three one 805. You know, a lot of people wonder why people who play video games spend hours doing tasks in the virtual world. And I think there's something inherently lacking about the outside world in forms of having a feeling of progression. Now, some games will like overload you with dopamine and have like 15 bars increasing, but even something like this, 31,800 gate jumps out of 114,000. The number goes up, it never goes down. In real life, you know, you'd be doing the work for hours on end. That's a part of it too. Being able to walk away from the video game, whereas you can't walk away from your job. I think people build up a resentment towards activities when they're forced to do them. Especially when you're forced to do them on a schedule. Granted, I'm forcing myself to do this. I'm forcing myself to come in every, I want 2 days, but I missed one. And just talk, at least for the sake of getting my thoughts out so other people can hear them. But it's different. It's different when it comes from yourself, when there's an actual reason. Especially when your boss randomly comes in and says, okay, folks, we're going to be using AI now. They're not going to say folks, they're going to probably say, okay, servants. Okay, employees. AI, use ChatGPT to do your work. You have not been using your ChatGPT credits. I'm signing you up for mandatory training to tell you how ChatGPT can make you more productive. Oh boy, I love when ChatGPT writes out this lot. Although honestly, I think using AI in the workplace is like the one ethical use of it. Fuck it. Just put absolute... I'm more upset about the slop part of AI than... Well, now the ethics part gets me too. The ethic part gets me when there's... Because of how the people who make AI art, so to speak, AI imagery, AI text, how they talk about others usually. I don't know. I'm honestly back and forth on it. I used to be only concerned about the slop, the garbage part of it. But now I'm moving towards equally concerned about the slop part. I'm tired of seeing that shit. But also it's the... I don't know. I guess AI art can never be human art. I think there's certain elitists, like some people will be elitists and say that digital art isn't real art and only real art is like on canvases, but that's just about the tools and the medium used. You can say watercolor isn't real art, but you're just an entitled elitist prick. You know, if you think you need oil paints in order to make real art, so to speak. You know, and when people talk about styles and whatever, if anything, that's like, people who complain about the styles of art seem like they're more in line with the AI crowd. They're seeing art as as a thing to have done, as an accomplishment to put on your record. Not for the purpose of creating art, but as the purpose of making the right thing, getting points for the invisible social points for the right actions. They're the artist world version of people that farm Reddit karma. If we could put it that way. Where it's not about what they post, but about what they get to claim for posting it. Maybe that's the reason I hate monetization as a topic in general. Because when people talk about, and probably that's definitely the reason I hate algorithm stuff. Because it doesn't change the fundamental message, it just makes it more palatable for the arbitrary metrics. People acting like they're still in grade school and or middle school and getting rubrics for things. Just, jeez. That's what I hate. Art is about a conversation. It's supposed to be... There's something beautiful, although I can't really feel it right now because, you know, the fascism's kind of preoccupying my mind. But I remember there being something beautiful about the idea of creating art. Of portraying a message. Or just having an expression of yourself. It doesn't have to be a political or social message. It can just be, I like these characters, you fight against them. I'm making a boss with these characters I like. Some of my favorite games have just had that quality. I Want to Be the Guy, especially. That's always what drew me into I Want to Be the Guy. I Want to Be the Guy, I Want to Be the Fan Game, I Want to Be the Bashi. They all have that aspect. Tribute has that aspect. I know some people are here just for the do the jumps. The how close can you get to beating Secret 5? There's that crowd too, and I respect them and I appreciate their work, but I'm here for the more genuine expression. And you know, the funny thing is, when I see the makers that do that, it seems to be skewed like in a reverse bell curve. There's the newer makers that come in and they make some random sporadic things. Games like I Want to Kill Bowser that I played, which just have characters and have stages made clearly just because the creator was thinking this would be cool. And then you have the older makers that do that. People like, I don't know how active Patrick GH3 is, but they've always struck me as that type. And of course, you know, KN, in making I Want to Be the Guy, seemed like they were going for that. Fan Game, Bashi, all have that aspect too. It's kind of funny how that is. I Want to Be the Bashi's one of the oldest games. I Want to Try is one of the newer, I don't know how new it is anymore, but really successful titles, and they both capture that aspect in a pretty beautiful way. That said, I'm also pretty removed from the game dev scene, so I really don't know what's being developed now. Honestly, the Yup games had that appeal, too. I know people didn't like the spam, but the Yup games did have that. It was just people trying to be funny. And admittedly, I don't think the Maker Medley captured that aspect. But perhaps I shouldn't sell myself short. I shouldn't put that idea in people's heads. What they see in that game, happy to have them see whatever. 32567. Isn't that an integer? There's like 32 something is an integer value. I think it's the 32-bit. No, it's a 16-bit integer, isn't it? Is that it? 32767. No, I was a little off. Actually, that's like K3 achievement, isn't it? Forgetting that number of deaths. The FFFFF achievement, or however many F's it is. I believe that is correct. I always had the desire to try the 114514 needles, and I was always trying to think of some creative way to do it. I guess this is how I'm going to do it. One hour, 12 minutes in. I'm so tired. I mean, I've slept. I actually just woke up a few hours ago, but emotionally I'm tired. I missed the 32767 thing, but whatever. I'll just dissociate and keep tapping back and forth. It's destruction for the sake of destruction. For the sake of destruction. Just because they can. Yeah, it's a pretty low energy session. I mean, I don't have anything I can say. What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? I really hate to be hopeless. But how do you have hope here? How would you have hope in this situation? Oh. Missed a chance to get 2 gates there because I double jumped to the frame early. Do that now, slightly faster. Gets this session over with. I guess I'm going for 42,000. I mean, maybe just go 40,000. I don't know. If I don't have anything to say, I'm kind of missing the point of these, aren't I? I kind of need to be talking to keep it engaging enough that people actually want to listen. Because they're not getting the 11451 clear for this. 114514 clear for this. Okay, so let's talk. Let me talk. Let me keep some ongoing dialogue going. What do we do? What do we do? Republicans obviously aren't going to impeach Trump. They have some sort of loyalty pact with him. Maybe if the red areas told their representatives to impeach Trump, they would, but I don't see that happening. Everyone's assuming there's going to be a fair election in 2026. Why are you assuming there's a fair election in 2026? Republicans have control of every part of government. They can, and may very well. Why wouldn't they sabotage it? Look at Russia. Look at China. You can have elections rigged by the government. And look at how close Trump is with Putin. You really don't think that Putin would want Trump reelected? If Putin wanted to, couldn't Putin just use contacts through Trump to rig the ballots? Putin has, what, like an 88% approval rating in every election? Maybe that's why Republicans refuse to impeach Trump. If you put in place even a moderate Democrat, they'd have the ability to see everything that's been going on behind the scenes. So in the Republican point of view, you just can't ever let people see that. But then what happens in the future? What happens after? Do we get another Democrat for 4 years or 8 years and then go back to Trump again? Or not Trump, maybe, but Trump Jr. Or someone like Trump. Mike Johnson. I think humanity is just fundamentally flawed. Honestly, the only reason I'm not there with them is probably that I can't be. If I was not disabled, who's to say I wouldn't have become a tech bro too? Maybe one of those tech bros that thinks that they aren't like the others. I say tech bro, but I don't mean to gender the term. It's yeah, exactly. Gender doesn't matter. It's a mentality. The LinkedIn lifeless posts, you know, half of them are women. You know? I'm just so tired of this. It wears on you. It really does. Living in this, it wears on you. There's the point where I wanted to, you know, fight back and yelling at people to do something, and when I see nothing happen, how am I supposed to believe? Are people gonna start? I don't know. I think seeing... Let's use his name. Seeing Carl Howard Payne. Seeing that guy get stopped just crushed me. How are we supposed to have hope? Hope of what? The Republicans work like a mafia. They're not going to break their ranks. The few Republicans that were moderates have left. You know, if Adam wanted to save America, Adam Kissinger could have stayed in. Could have, when the district shifted around, he could have ran against the other person in a primary, the other Republican. But he dropped out instead, and he wanted to go and talk on the news about how the Republican Party is too extreme. He could have been leading a charge in the Republican Party to impeach Trump, but he's not going to. And so instead, we end up... I mean, even if the Democrats woke up to the situation they were in, what are they going to do? They can't impeach Trump on their own. They can request the Republicans to side with them, but that's not going to happen. We need the House and the Senate. It's not going to happen. The Senate Republicans are more extreme. And people like Mitch McConnell say, oh, America's going to lose because of Trump. But is he working to remove Trump from office, or is he just trying to convince Trump to change? And by the way, Mitch McConnell does not get any sympathy from me. He's saying that now because he wants good points from the media. He wants attention in the media, positive coverage. But I know how much he pushed. He told Republicans, don't vote for anything Obama puts forward. He wanted Obama to be a single-term president. He told Republicans, don't vote for anything Biden puts forward. He backed Trump. Mitch McConnell backed Trump. He said the final removal from office vote was on Senator's own conscience. But on the first impeachment, he said, don't impeach. Mitch McConnell said, don't impeach. The Republicans didn't impeach. On the second, he did say you can vote based on your own conscience in the Senate. Because Trump was already out of office. Mitch McConnell doesn't care if Trump gets reelected. Mitch McConnell just wants Republicans reelected. It wouldn't have cut the Republican term short at all. If anything, Republicans removing Trump from office could give them more credibility. Look, after Republicans impeached and were going to remove Nixon, they got Reagan in. Off the tail of Nixon. Put a Republican in running against a prior Republican. Reagan was running on the whole fear of government corruption from the same party he was running with. The fact that I live in a world where we have virtual reality and we have 3D video games and we have the ability to live stream at any point, and then it's also a world that I don't have healthcare. I don't know if I'll have a home next month. I'm suffering every day. It's a world that has infinite possibilities, but I'm just not allowed any of them. That's what it feels like. You can be sick, and we have medicine to fix it, but it's only for other people. It's not for you. And if you're a person with gender dysphoria, you're going to be the target of a whole lynch mob for trying to work on that. You can transition. We have the technology to transition. We might even be able to implement artificial wombs in trans women. But there probably won't be any trans women left by the time that happens. That's really it at the core. That's it. Infinite possibilities, but not for me. The rich have yachts and they get to eat buffets of exotic, expensive foods. They get to dip lobster in butter. Eat fish eggs because that's the thing that rich people do. They eat lobster in butter instead of just drinking butter because it's a rich person thing to do. Whatever the rich people want. They eat the rich people mushrooms. Or they turn the rich people mushrooms into oils and put that on their rich people meat. Spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a baseball team or something because that's what rich people do. Not a good play on it, but just to own it. Just to own the team. It's crazy. They get all of that. Why? Because they were lucky. And heartless. That too. Lucky and heartless. and I get to be worn out, underserved, and abandoned. I guess that's how all artists really end up, isn't it? Leonardo da Vinci was a depressed guy, cut off his own ear for some reason. Fuck it, you know what? At this point, I'm probably just a few months away from going completely insane. It's not like there's a reason not to. Who's gonna care? Why shouldn't I go insane? If it makes the pain go away, so what? And maybe I do become schizophrenic and start hallucinating the anime girls. Maybe that's what you should do in this world. Maybe the schizophrenic people are right. Wouldn't be the first time that someone was right and ignored. Someone was belittled for being correct. What good is it doing anyone for me to be aware of reality? I'm not doing anything. Look, I'm playing a game, jumping back and forth between gates. But I'm not really doing that, I'm moving a character. I'm launching a projectile back and forth between two obstacles. I'm not jumping at all. I'm completely stationary. I'm moving like 5 muscles. That's it. And I'm sure people will point out that I'm a hikikomori. And Lane, who's also kinda insane, is a hikikomori. Maybe that's the point. But I didn't choose to be a hikikomori because I didn't want other options. I didn't really have any. I've taken it on as a label because it's better to be proud about it than to be whining about how I was underserved. At least in a functional society, I didn't want to be like, all starting a pity party. But what was the other option? Existing in that world? Where? I'm in America. Where are the spaces to be in? I can't even really walk to and from the grocery store. It's like a hike. Because there's no sidewalk. I'm walking like beside the highway, where there's cars, and I hate doing it because I feel like I'm going to slip and then either drop my food or fall into the road and get hit by a car, maybe both. Should I go outside? Where? Where to? I could be more than a hikikomori, but like, you gotta give me somewhere else to go. I can go into VI chat if I spend $1,000 on a headset. But that really doesn't change anything, does it? Still a bunch of artificial interactions. Moving a virtual avatar, causing the world around me to change. Connecting with people through short voice transmissions. This whole world seems insane. Am I really crazy? Can you really call me crazy? Is anyone sane? And for God's sake, every other week there's a new school shooting in this country. Every single week there's a new school shooting, sometimes multiple times a week. People run each other over with cars and stab each other, stab their spouses and their exes over petty arguments. They go out and they murder children. Or they set themselves on fire in front of a government building. Nothing's sane in this world. No one's sane. We're all crazy. I'm just willing to admit that I'm crazy. Most people cling to some form of insanity and claim that that's sanity. But no one here is rational. It's just consume, 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 and a bunch of people yelling in my ear about whatever the latest situation is. And the internet's going off on a tangent about whatever section of the queer community they're gonna say are invalid or are problematic or whatever the fuck they're gonna talk about. And I hate that word problematic. I've said it before. I hate it. I hate it. And I've talked about this before. I think I said it in the first rambling I did. People that complain about petty things that don't matter, and people who focus on petty things, even if they're not complaining about them. Like anyone who's focused on school right now, you do understand that if America falls, no one's going to care that you went to Harvard, right? No one's going to care that you went to MIT, whatever that stands for. Something Institute of Technology. No one's going to care. No one's going to care that you went to the most prestigious private high school. No one's going to care about your SAT scores. If America falls, none of that's going to matter. You'll just be another refugee trying to get in somewhere. Maybe they'll let you in Canada. But frankly, if I was Canada, I don't know. Do you really want to let in the Americans? You're going to be letting in the people that vote for figures like Trump and think Trump was just one bad apple, but they'll figure it out eventually. Hey, look how many people voted for George W. Bush. George W. Bush got the presidency, and then people voted for Trump. People are still going to vote for these Republicans. The people who vote for Lauren Boebert. That fucker. You're voting for her? Are you kidding me? I've talked about her so much I can't keep harping on her because then it just comes down to be a personal attack, and this is bigger than the individual politicians. It's the collective mentality that you'd vote for someone like them, someone like MTG, someone like Boebert. It's not about the fact that who these people are, it's about the fact that America is willing to vote for people that are incompetent, who blatantly don't care, who are pushing wacky conspiracy theories. You have measles back in this country. We might have polio come back. And measles is already killing people. There's no reason this should be happening. Can RFK Jr. just say, I've looked at all the health documents and there's actually nothing? Everything I was running on was a lie? I'm sorry. Does he have the ability to say, I was wrong, vaccines are not pushed by the government, I'm the government now, and I can see that they're not being pushed? There's no secret organization of doctors and corporatists that are trying to put microchips in your children. How do they have people out here arguing about Big Pharma pushing vaccines when we should focus on Big Pharma lobbying against universal health care, making us sicker? And you can't win with these people. There's nothing you can do to convince America to vote differently, to be differently. How do you look as an American at a platform of free healthcare? Well, I guess, to be fair, that was only given to the registered Democrats to vote on. And again, that primary was really rigged. It was rigged against Bernie. It wasn't impossible, but it was going to be really hard when every Democrat drops out and gives their votes to Clinton. Hillary Clinton. I wish one of the fucking MAGA loonies would have shot her before 2016. It might have been a completely different nation. It would have been a completely different nation. I mean, they would have put a different centrist up, but I think another centrist might have been able to win against Trump. But Hillary Clinton was just such a fucking bad choice. It would have been better if they shot Hillary Clinton during the final legs of the debate. And then it's like, oh, Hillary Clinton's dead, so her delegates just by default go to the other candidate, Bernie Sanders. Bernie. The Dems created MAGA, so who do I vote for? Who do I vote for? Do I vote for MAGA or the people that create MAGA? That said, I said vote for Kamala Harris, and guess what? She didn't win. I wanted Bernie in 2020. We didn't get that. How do you get through to these people? There's nothing you can offer better than saving $3,000 and getting better healthcare. Instead of paying $5,000 to some company that denies you, everyone hates that. Everyone's talking about Luigi and about Brian Thompson and saying they're glad he died. Instead of paying $5,000 for people like Brian Thompson to control your healthcare, how about $2,000? And of course, anything else you can pay out of pocket. Do people forget that point? Just because the government's running the insurance, even if they choose to deny all, let's say they deny... I mean, look, hormones aren't covered. HRT isn't covered for people on any private plan as far as I know. Starbucks used to pay that for employees, but then cut that. And I don't know if abortions are covered under most private care plans, but you still have those. People on private healthcare plans can pay out of pocket. So even if the government decided all of a sudden that they hate abortion, they're not going to fund abortions anymore, you can still pay for it. I'm tired of being right. I'm tired of being told I'm wrong. told I'm overreacting, and then seeing that I was right all along. Fuck me for drinking the Kool-Aid on that a bit. Thinking I could joke about things like MAGA Man, and I wasn't talking about the next president of the United States. Fuck me, I guess. I'm sorry. What else do I say? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I never wanted any of this. All I ever wanted is to have a nation that worked for the people. A fair government, a fair representation. That's all I ever wanted. I'm trying to wave the surrender flag. And hoping that at some point things change. But I don't know what else I can say. I give in, okay? Look, I've completely ditched my ego. I'm just out here being completely humble, saying I'm defeated, I give in. What more can I do? What more is there to do? What? We got a spam message. Something popped up there. I didn't detect what that was. Can I see it on the replay? Yeah, I don't really care. It seemed like a spam account. I'm gonna presume that's just spam. Thank you, Saribot. I'm exhausted. I know I'm not saying a lot. I'm not exhausted physically, but I'm drained. There's nothing to say. What else is there to say? I mean, I'm just putting out my words here for more people. More human people. Most of which are too stupid, too uncaring to care about what I say. Spent my whole life interacting with a bunch of people, most of whom are idiots. And for what? That's a little judgmental, isn't it? I'm being a little rude, you know. Maybe I've become a boomer now. Maybe that's what's happened here. I don't think I'm all that. I try not to be like an egotist or someone on my moral high horse or whatever, but with the modern internet, I don't think I'm all that intelligent, but I feel like everyone else is really stupid. That's all I can say. Why do I feel like I surrounded myself with idiots? I never wanted to. It's not even like I've surrounded myself with spaces seem infested by that. How are there people that are complaining about whatever the hell their current queer discourse is on Tumblr? Like, why? Why is this the people? Why are these the kind of people that are around me? No wonder I feel so worn down all the time. Look at the kind of people that I have to interact with. I guess this is what happens when you like I Want to Be the Guy fan games. You get surrounded, like, involved in honestly, the fan game is not even the worst part of it. Okay, kind of. Somewhat. I don't know. Would it kill people to be decent to each other? Would it kill people to be smart? The internet just feels like a place filled with a bunch of smug assholes that are trying to make a smart comeback. Instead of, you know, a community of people that's decent to each other. I was trying to make a community that was like that, a community that was a decent group of people, but it never really took off. Maybe I should have kicked out some members earlier than I did. I think that was probably a part of the problem. And then, of course, you know, with the election, politics, obviously my priorities changed there. But really, it was, at its core, it was originally just a place for me to post about my stuff. Maybe I'm just as bad as everyone else. Maybe I am an egotist. An egotist in denial. I claim I'm not an egotist, and I sometimes don't do the things an egotist would do, but only when I preemptively think, that's something that a narcissist would do. Don't be narcissistic. Is there a community of I want to be the guy faking banging people that are also politically active leftists and willing to like embrace terrorism? Hit me up. I'd be a good member in your community, I'm sure. When I decide to log on. But maybe I'd be more active online though if I had people that I liked. Oh, and you also gotta be, like, active online, so probably hikikomoris. Probably hikikos, or not, at least not in college and with, like, a low-stress job. You don't have to be a hikiko, you just have to be a NEET. Or have a low-stress job. Or just not care about college. Or school, high school. Maybe that's the real type of person I should be interacting with. A bunch of 14-year-olds. Isn't that always what the community's been? That's always what the community's catered to. It's so obvious that I'm just taking shots at everyone now. Don't take anything I say too seriously, please. When it comes to the community. Don't take this as a reason to hate the Iwana community, or take this as a sign that I hate the Iwana community. I think I've always been trying to cater to that type of a niche of fan gamer that just doesn't exist. Hikikomoris, or NEETs that would focus, that would treat game dev like a job. That's what I wanted. I think maybe in the end what I really just wanted was a job. I wanted a workplace, I wanted the feeling of cooperation that you get from an office. But I can't get that from an office. So I've tried to make a work-like Discord server. No wonder it never took off. No wonder I'm here thinking everyone here is just messing around, that none of them take anything seriously. Yeah. Because the people that want to take things seriously, that want to be mature or whatever, aren't online all the time. I've been lying to myself and trying to find a reason to believe that this community was, that I can make a community. You know, maybe the answer is, instead of trying to take people from the Iwana community, I should have been trying to take people from other spaces and bring them into a community. Maybe I should just, maybe instead of trying to communicate with fan game people, I should be trying to communicate with people that are politically aware. NEETs. Find a community of NEET game devs and just be the fan game person there. Instead of finding a community of fan game devs trying to be the NEET active game dev person there. This whole episode has been me harping on how sad I am. Not a very productive episode, but I'm not gonna retake it. Like, I'm not gonna cut it. I need skate champs. This kinda is a no outtake setup here. So I started complaining about the world, and I'm gonna finish complaining about the world. This is really more of a manifesto than it is an actual podcast or whatever it was originally intending. Who knows what this will actually end up doing? Probably nothing. Maybe someone will take a single snippet or something I say. Imagine that they listen through all of this. No, they're not going to listen through all of this. I don't know the transcript, so most likely no one's going to listen to anything I say here. So I could just complain about myself and no one's going to know the difference. I could say it's just thoughtful political reflection, and no one's going to prove me wrong. Three 701 1. So this is only meant 2 hours, but I'm clearly not in the right mindset to be recording this or talking. So unless I find something online that I can rant about, at this point I'm probably just gonna stop the stream here. Oh, what's this? Article from The Independent. Elon Musk wants to leave politics because he's tired of attacks from the left. Oh, I fucking hope. We still should burn down the Tesla factories anyways. This better not be like the time he was going to step down from running Twitter and then he didn't. Okay, that's true. He's probably just... This is just posturing to make people feel like we're not speedrunning towards fascism. Yeah, I could see that too. Here's a green text I relate to. Pay hundreds of dollars for a new computer. Manufacture bloatware that I have to edit the shell to stop reinstalling itself. Yeah, you just gotta clean reinstall Windows. Pop-up advertisements I can clean reinstall and also put on Blackbird, I think is what it's called. Something called Copilot. It keeps opening with no provocation and begging me to talk to it. Seriously, why now big tech is going to bring in like the insecure yandere girlfriend that weebs would joke about wanting to have, like artificial yandere begging them for attention, but this is now just a part of the operating system. I swear I'm not lonely. I'm not so socially isolated that I installed a program that would beg me to talk to it. I don't want this thing here. I can't get rid of it. I'm not supporting the slur on that page, but it's 4chan, so like, are we surprised? RFK Jr. set to launch disease registry tracking autistic people. He can find a cure for the condition by September. Okay, so RFK Jr. is absolutely not waking up to the fact that all the health nonsense he spouted, all those conspiracy theories are not true. He gets to see the whole database, and nope, not gonna wake up to that fact. We have no hope there. Kennedy, a longtime critic of vaccination. Yeah, he thinks that vaccines cause autism, but sure. Yeah, this is... I don't even know what to say about this. September has been RFK's set date since he first started talking about it, and people have been puzzling by that from the beginning. September is the start of the school year. Okay, that's actually really scary. That's maybe there's a coincidence, but I don't feel good about the fact. Oh, I forgot that Trump said this. I'll be known as the fertilization president, and that's okay. That's okay? What? That RFK thing scares me. That the idea that he would... let's look aside the September thing, because I don't want to be, like, piecing together an absurd board of with a bunch of strings tied between different thumbtacks. I'm not going to go the schizo route. He's going to make a list of autistic people. Why? And here's the thing. He's announcing that. Maybe it is that he doesn't want to be like, he doesn't want to work in the dark, but he wouldn't need to announce that unless he's trying to... It could be that he's announcing it to normalize this idea, to make it seem... To make this seem like it's... To make people push back less on it. Like with the TSA, like with the Patriot Act, and have people just accept that this is the way things are. Like with the inability of Americans to access health insurance. You know, we talk about it, but no one's actually really... I feel like people would push back more if all of a sudden they were used to health insurance, and then the government said, we're not going to give you health insurance anymore. You have to pay more for it now. People would protest. Or look at what happened when they banned abortion. I don't have to talk about hypotheticals. I watched this. Supreme Court decision leaked about banning abortion. People gather around the White House and the Supreme Court protesting. And they go away. And we still don't have abortion rights guaranteed federally. I think they're just trying to... It's the frog in boiling water. Slowly infiltrating our minds with these ideas. Making us freak out about it a little when there's nothing that we can actually point to. And then, by the time that it gets implemented, people have already heard about it, and they're done talking about it. They're on to the next thing now. I don't feel good about that. This is going to lead to more intrusion on the rights of children. I honestly... Because I don't think RFK thinks that adults can have autism. I say that because I think RFK said he hasn't seen an adult with autism. Now, that's stupid because I'm fairly certain that Elon Musk is autistic. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure. I've heard it a lot, but that might not be true. I'm gonna look it up now. Is Elon Musk autistic? Yes. Oh, this is AI. I'm not gonna trust that shit. Never. I'm on private tab though. Why am I on private tab? Alright, on Newsweek from May 10, 2021, Elon Musk reveals he has a form of autism spectrum disorder. I'm actually making history tonight as the first person with Asperger's to host SNL, or at least the first person to admit it, Elon Musk said. Okay. He's the source, so I'm gonna go with that. Honestly, there's a person when I was in school who had Asperger's, and I talked up to their family being conservative, but like they would say the craziest shit. I did not vibe well with that person. I mean, I didn't like. It was just because of their... And to be honest, it was maybe a little bit of the social aspect of Asperger's. I don't know. But I definitely did not vibe with this person. I know ADHD and Asperger's are supposed to be like... Or ADHD and autism are supposed to be the besties, but actually, I wasn't really like close with anyone at that time. I think I was dealing with the PTSD from watching police officers shoot protesters. You know, the thing I still have that still makes me kind of addicted to people sometimes, yeah. Anyways, they would say the craziest things. Actually, you know what? I think that was the first person. They were the first person to say that marriage is a part of the American dream. the first person in my real life to say that people should get married because it's the American dream. I don't want to make fun of them because I do understand that Asperger's is a condition, and it causes people to not understand social norms, social cues, and frankly, I'm not gonna make fun of them because I don't understand what the fuck's going on in this world. But it was like they said a lot of stuff that I saw in Jordan Peterson, although at the time I didn't know who Jordan Peterson was. At the time, I really wasn't all that politically aware. It kind of happened as a dominoes effect from my grief over watching the BLM protests, to be honest. That's where I got politically involved. But yeah, they definitely said a lot of Jordan Peterson stuff. So that's why I hate this breeder mentality so much. Maybe that's the answer. Is that it? No, I don't want to say that. I'm not going to say anything. I can say anything. Nope. Actually, I forget that I even mentioned that this person was any condition. They were just a racist piece of shit. I'm falling into like the trap of people that say, "Oh, Kanye's bipolar," to excuse this stuff. I'm not gonna excuse, because this guy, this fella here, wrote some of the most racist things about black people that I have ever heard, and read them out loud to the class, and I will tell you some of the things that I read there, I wish I had not. No, actually no, I'm not going to say I wish I had not. They're definitely not things that I would repeat, even paraphrasing. I mean, it was complete racism, but the kind of racism that says it's just in nature. It was disgusting. Okay, there's a post. What is this? It's called wire routing porn. What does that mean? Huh? Oh, okay. It's using porn as like a, not literal porn, like food porn, saying that stuff. Look at the news right now. Dengue fever is coming back in America. Oh, that's great. RFK can definitely help with that when he's done euthanizing the autistic people. I think a part of this whole puzzle, a part of this whole situation we're in, is the media, the mainstream media. Because there's a reason that people went to figures like Joe Rogan. And I think there's a profound lack of trust in the media, and frankly, it's warranted. It is warranted completely to not trust the media right now. Look at how much they sanewashed Trump. They could have hit Trump a lot harder if they wanted to be the spokesperson of the people, or the fourth estate, or whatever they're called, whatever they see themselves as being. But now you have blatant corruption, and you have examples like Jeff Bezos saying that he's going to only run op-eds on free markets and liberty, which he determined, of course, what that means. And his editors all dropped out. And Jeff Bezos was like, I said you have to be 100% behind me or you have to resign. And they all resigned. And Jeff Bezos boasted that proudly on So let me hear. Jeff Bezos, free markets. Op-ed. I'm just gonna search that one. I'm sure you'll find it because everyone. Plus the shit that the media was writing about. You know, even the way they normalized the genocide in Palestine. Yeah, viewpoints opposing those pillars of personal liberties and free market will be left to be published by others, aka no government regulation and corporation good. The internet does the job of offering opinions on a broad range of topics. Well, it's not doing a very good job for the people, but it is doing a good job for Jeff Bezos because it's not doing a good job at all. We are going to be writing every day in support and defense of two pillars, personal liberties and free markets. Unsubscribe from Washington Post. Did I say that? I didn't say that yet. Unsubscribe from Washington Post. Unsubscribe from The Atlantic. Unsubscribe from the New York Times. That's what you gotta do. You gotta vote with your wallet at the very least. It's the only power we have. If they're going to attack heroes like Luigi Medione and publish pieces for Trump and stifle anti-Trump political cartoons and anti-Trump commentary, just let them die. Kill them. I mean, anyone can make a newsletter. Let the New York Times die. Or at least let them shrink a fair amount so someone else come in and take up the reins. Because they're not doing it. They're not doing a good job. I suggested to him that if the answer wasn't hell yes, then it had to be no. What an ass. Free markets, free people. Okay. Okay. The Post would not endorse the presidential candidate, which people were mad about. Yep. Better for readers. They're gonna endorse Kamala Harris, but no. Do nothing to tip the scales. Well, I don't know about that. And this is the one. Here. If we can find the... It doesn't have the cartoon, though. Here it is. This is the one. I've seen this one. I love this one. It's a sketch, obviously. Because it was canceled. Lipstick on... Kissing the feet of Donald Trump. Who's who here? This is Bezos. Is this one of these people? Is this Zuckerberg? That's Disney, obviously. I don't know who this one is. And I don't know who this one is. Anyways. Oh, of course. Elon Musk jumps on. Bravo, Jeff Bezos, posted Elon Musk. Yeah, personal liberties, but it forbids views other than his own. He's telling you what the op-eds can write about. Is it fear out of consequences, or is it just his own personal greed? I don't think it's fear. I don't think Bezos fears anything. I think Jeff Bezos is totally fine with people like Trump. In fact, I would be surprised if Bezos didn't want Trump for his own personal interests. Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, they've all been greedy. They don't care about politics. So they're going to side with a politician that supports them the most. It's usually going to be a Republican. If a Democrat's in charge, then they'll do some Democrat identity politics fan service. Is this a fucking joke? Whatever. So that's the thing. Mark Zuckerberg and Bezos and those other corporatists, they don't care about people, and they don't care about politics. They'll get behind whatever's popular, which frankly, so does every Republican. I don't think any Republican actually has a view on half of what the shit they spew. They're defending this tariff war after repeatedly arguing that tariffs are bad, because you should let the free market do their thing. why does death to America have to mean death of any rational... But why does that have to mean destruction of security and destruction of stability in this country, and not, like, reforming the government? We got the death of America, but I didn't want it this way. I wanted death to the American establishment, not death to the American people. They were already dying. They were already sick. I think that's the thing in America. You can't be, in America, it's, you're ignorant or you go insane. That's it. Well, you're ignorant or you go insane, or you're a heartless person. You're the problem because you're causing the damage, you're the problem because you're letting the damage happen, or you focus on the damage and it drives you crazy. There's no reason that we should be in this type of world. There's no reason that this should be going on. There's no reason that we should be letting this happen. We have the wealthiest nation on Earth, and we don't have healthcare. We are the wealthiest nation on Earth. We are that. And yet, I haven't been to a doctor since I was 17. And yet, I have a condition that maybe can easily be alleviated with medication, but war on drugs, I can't have it. Because in the 60s, they said don't. $38K. I've poured out my heart to this community, I've poured out my heart to the people around me. And what I'm asking for is not extreme. And I've got nothing. Not even one bit of progress. In fact, I've just been losing. I've just been losing what I had. You know, at the very least, I can take pride in the fact that I'm not letting myself take the easy route. I'm not going to kill myself unless it's suicide by cop. And really, I'd rather I'm not gonna kill myself. They're gonna kill me, or I'm going to trade. I'm gonna die fighting. They'll kill me for what I say, or they'll kill me what I'm trying to do. I'm not gonna let America win. I'm not gonna let the defeatism win. I say there's no hope for peaceful change, but it's not because I want people to bury themselves in depression. Like, I'm not gonna drink. I'm never gonna drink alcohol. Because that's the route that people take. People post all sorts of memes about drinking vodka or, wine, or just to numb the pain. I'm not gonna let myself numb the pain. Pain, it makes me stronger. It makes me it doesn't make me stronger. It doesn't make me stronger, but it makes me more impulsive. If anything could make the pain go away, I would have found it. No, if anything could have make the pain go away and I allowed myself it, I would be hooked immediately. If there was a thing I could do that would make myself not feel this way for even an hour, I'd use it, and then I'd never do anything. I need to be in pain. We need the pain. We people collectively need to be in pain. That's the only hope. And maybe it's not even so much about defeating Trump or Vance. or Musk, because I don't think we're going to be able to defeat this country. But if I could just kill one of them, and someone else could come in and kill one, if we could create enough chaos that shakes up the world, just so that everyone knows that this isn't okay, and that we're not going to stand for this. Isn't there value in fighting back just for the sake of saying you did? You look at the story of the prisoners in that one camp. Here. Nazi camp. Rebellion? Revolution? Riot. And that's what we need. Every one of the quote-unquote Tesla terrorists is a hero, just for doing exactly that. I'd like to do something bigger, though. Maybe just so that I can dream very big, so when I under-deliver, I still achieve something. That's all we can hope for in the end, isn't it? Just to create enough chaos that... Well, I guess just to create enough chaos, see what happens. No point hoping beyond that point. The best route is to create chaos. Then we see what happens afterwards. I think we're about a third of the way done with this game, and I'm completely out of things to say, so for now I guess I'll just stop here.